Single-player experiences often don't get enough love as of late. It's multiplayer, it's life service, it's all of that. None of that stuff is important today. What is important is the great single-player stuff you can get on Xbox Game Pass. We've got a new list of stuff for you, so today we're going to talk about 15 single-player games on Game Pass you absolutely need to play. Let's get started off with number 15, Doom Eternal. Are we the only ones that have been getting a Doom itch lately? There's something about it, man. And if you're subscribed to Game Pass, you can play Doom Eternal, which we think is a really good game. The original, rebooted Doom is excellent, but this one takes everything, cranks it up a notch, and just gives a lot of players exactly what they wanted. It offers even more of that high-octane, first-person, shooting, ripping, and tearing, from the fluid, fun movement to the absolutely insane weaponry, the crazy fidelity with all the gore, and the rock and roll music blaring in the background. Man, this game is a lot of fun, and it's a good challenge. Personally, I preferred the older Doom, like the first reboot, like I said, but it is still endlessly satisfying, bouncing around like a hyperactive ping pong, shooting demons in space, going on Earth, going to hell, going all over the place. The variety is great, and this is a really good one for Game Pass because if you haven't played a modern Doom, especially if you're coming from the perspective of maybe not being thrilled with the upcoming Doom game, you should check this out because this is Doom. Next, over at number 14, we have Stalker 2. Now, this finally released after a pretty long and arduous development process. This game looks like it was going to be dead in the water, but thankfully, the developers persevered. And what we get here is a pretty cool open-world exploration. If you like the old-school Stalker games for PC, you'll probably really enjoy this one. If you haven't played any of those, you can definitely jump in with this one, but know that's it, kind of its own type of game. Now, a lot of things since the original Stalkers have come along and kind of emulated their vibe and style of gameplay. I'm talking like your hardcore explorations, your hardcore first-person shooters, stuff like DayZ, or something like Escape from Tarkov or the Anomaly mod for the original Stalker games even. Stalker 2 kind of tries to bridge the gap and be its own very hardcore thing, but also relatively accessible, and I think it pulls it off. And it's just got a good-looking, cool, moody world that you can explore, some interesting things to see, a good mystery to try and unfold. There's like a charisma to this game. If you like exploring big worlds, kind of open-ended, being your own person, Stalker is a must-play. And by Stalker, I mean any of the Stalker games. Next, over at number 13, we have Hi-Fi Rush. This, of course, dropped a few years ago after a big Xbox blowout presentation thing, and it looked absolutely compelling. We were thrilled with the marketing presentation and how it dropped right after the presentation for people to just jump in and play. Honestly, one of the best ways to do a game drop, and it worked because the game was good. Hi-Fi Rush is a rhythmic action platforming game where rhythm plays a central role. They took a little bit from certain other rhythm-based games like older action games. Think like Devil May Cry, but more bright and colorful and with a lot more together. That central core rhythm system really makes everything feel super unique, and it's got a lot more to it than just that because it's got a cool comic book style presentation, really great control over the top action. It is just very satisfying and feel good to play. This game is smooth as all hell, the presentation, the graphics, everything really makes you dive in. Like you can conveniently hammer away on buttons, kind of getting hit to music, but the game rewards you for really sticking with combat, focusing precisely on rhythm, and it just feels good. More of this type of thing. It's fun, it's wholesome. You know we like dark, edgy games, but we also like this stuff, and this is just as valuable. It's hard to put down Hi-Fi Rush once you play it, and it's a very friendly Game Pass game. You can pick it up, play it for a little bit, and then bounce out, even if you aren't interested. But we're pretty sure if you give it a try, you will be interested.
Man, I miss singing on the bus with these guys. Wish we had another meet.
Next, over at number 12, we have South of Midnight. This game just dropped a few days ago, and interestingly enough, it's already on Game Pass. It's always cool when newer games just happen to drop on Game Pass. South of Midnight dropped day one on this thing, so if you have Game Pass, you can check it out. And I think it's a really good one. And if you like third-person action adventures, narrative-driven stuff with unique things going on, this is it, because South of Midnight really kind of isn't like anything else out there right now. I mean, you could argue it's like a little bit of a AA game, but what that means nowadays, like, who can really say? Either way, South of Midnight is set in kind of mythical Southern America and weaves a really interesting story. Dark tales. It pulls a lot from a history that doesn't get really covered a lot in games and just packs it in a fun action-adventure game. It's the type of game that you play to see what happens next, but also, in the meantime, has you doing some fun platforming, some good puzzle solving, and some good monster-based combat. It's a story-driven game. It's fairly short. If it hooked you, you'll get through it in like 15 minutes, but the thing is, it will probably hook you. It does have some requisite jank. It's not the perfect, most highly polished game ever, but if you can work with that, give it a shot. Oh, also, the game tries a stop-motion animation style thing, and if that looks weird to you, you can actually turn it off in settings. Now next over at number 11, we got a certified banger. What else do we need to say about Titanfall 2? It's awesome. It's been one of our favorite FPS games for years now, and if you have Game Pass, you can jump in and play it. It's been on Game Pass for a while, so we've talked about it in previous compilation videos, but we just like to remind people that it's there, especially if you're jumping into Game Pass, maybe for the first time. We've said it before, but it deserves to be said again, so if you've already heard it, you can skip ahead to the next entry. But Titanfall 2 isn't just good because it's good. It's good because of what it does. It's a unique, more modern style FPS campaign. Short, sweet, super exciting and polished, a hell of a lot of fun. It also goes to some places you might not expect, like some really cool kind of experimental stuff for an FPS campaign that most mainstream ones don't even bother to do anymore. There's good bond between man and machine, man and robot. There's just a lot of heart to it, a lot of sweetness to it, but also a lot of high-octane action and thrills. We know, we wished it was longer, but there's a quality 5 to 6 hours, whatever. It's an awesome ride and absolutely worth going through. You probably got that type of time, give it a shot, even if you don't care about the multiplayer. The single player alone is awesome. Next, over number 10, we have Avowed. This is another brand new game released earlier this year. You can jump in and play it on Game Pass, which is like a no-brainer if you're subscribed to it. If you like Obsidian games like RPGs, Avowed is it, but with a little bit of a first-person, almost kind of sort of Skyrim vibe. You know, if you've played The Outer Worlds, it's kind of a similar deal here, but Avowed is interesting because it's set in the Pillars of Eternity universe, which Obsidian made, but they were more hardcore, like older CRPG, top-down style games. So here, it's like that explored in first person, completely different setting, a different story. I mean, you know, the Living Lands. The character creator is extensive. It's got fully customizable stats and attributes, bunch of spell abilities, precious skills, crafting, looting, customizing your weapons and stuff, and just a world to explore. And I know it sounds like I'm just listing off all the things that make these games interesting and play for so long, but Avowed sticks with all of that stuff. It's got a BioWare-style companion relationship interaction thing. No romances though, but it's all there and it's all quality stuff. Avowed looks great on an Xbox Series X. I mean, act like this one is a no-brainer. I mean, debate a little bit of gamer bro controversy aside when this game released. Play it yourself, make your own opinions. Next, over at number 9, if you're not tired of hearing about this game from us already, it's Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and it is now available on Game Pass. Yeah, I mean, it's not much of a surprise. A game published by Bethesda eventually making its way to Game Pass. We just didn't realize it would be here this soon. But if you've been holding off, please check out Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. You know, we made a whole video about it. It's worth your time. It's not the best game ever made, but it is an awesome Indiana Jones adventure. It's carefully considered. It's well thought out. It's an excellent first-person action-adventure game, which we don't see very often, you know, especially in the era of like Tomb Raider or Uncharted. It's different, and the developers just like perfectly nailed an Indiana Jones-style story. Everything about it is just perfectly in line with that old-school adventure stuff we've come to know and love. The game also just has a really good flow of style, keeping you engaged at all times with a mix of dialogue, exploration, action, puzzle solving, horde sections, all of this stuff. It just keeps you going and it has a good flow. It always has you engaged, which is really nice. Also, if you're a big Indiana Jones fan, it's just a really fun continued adventure with Indiana Jones, but also it is not lost on anybody that, yes, this is technically kind of like the new next-gen Wolfenstein type game. So if you played those games and you want to see the natural progression in machine game storytelling, here you go. Next, over at number 8, we have Hellblade 2. This thing dropped last year, and yes, it was a day one hit for Game Pass. For us, it's mostly for the power of the performance. The story is really, really good, but man, Melina, the main actress here for Senua, just brings out an absolutely powerhouse performance. It's probably one of the best video game performances to date. There's a lot of depth to it, and yes, the story does kind of spiral off into crazy turns, but they stick with it and they knock it out of the park. Technical presentation aside though, some people were a little divided on this second game in comparison to the mostly more linear, more concise, more walking simulator with story-focused deeply first game. But either way, the second game, Hellblade 2, is absolutely worth playing at least. To see what you think, form your own opinion. Really, it is compelling in a lot of ways. Structurally, it is not the best thing we've ever played, but the world and the story and the presentation of everything and just how it throws you into this absolutely abstract, crazy-ass wild world is something that really kept us playing. And if anything, like I said it in our review, but Hellblade 2 really keeps people talking. Like whether you're reading forums or comment sections, people have a lot to say about the direction of the story of this game. And I just think that's fascinating because how often does that happen? I just think that's really cool on its own. So Hellblade 2, maybe it'll give you something to talk about. Now, next over at number 7, we have A Plague Tale Requiem. If you like stealth games where you're a little more grounded in the grit, sneaking around back alleys, sneaking around castles, military camps, getting past soldiers, this game gives you that, but then also it throws in just like disgusting rat swarms. These games are cool as hell, man, and the second game, A Plague Tale Requiem, is easily recommendable. If you like really good atmosphere, a unique time period, if you want to play a slightly darker, heavier, story-driven narrative game, this one has it, man. And when I said story-driven game, I mean, there isn't a lot of choice like shaping a story. It is very much a narrative on rails, but it gives you all those other things I talked about. Stealth mechanics, fun gameplay, a little bit of action, some sneaking around and finding alternative solutions for things. Puzzle solving, having a buddy character with you that helps you with certain aspects of the game, and then just some intense, wild, disgusting rat-based sections. Man, this series is really, really, really good. Requiem is a sequel, it's bigger in scope, the story is a lot more interesting, it's got more to it in every way, and it's perfect for Game Pass. You can jump in and check it out. If you don't like it, then you'll know. And if you love it, you'll know. Next, over number 6, released earlier this month, Blueprints from developer Dog-U-Bomb. This is a game for the puzzle and roguelike enjoyers. You get to enjoy a pretty unique looking mansion where they're challenged to basically find a hidden room that is not depicted on the architect's blueprints, or on the house's blueprints, excuse me. The 46th room is what it's called. It's essentially an architectural puzzle game, like mashed together with a roguelike, which is a cool idea, like just on paper, and hearing it, like that's gotta make it for something pretty at least interesting or unique, and it does. You basically lay down floor plans in the mansion to try to link more rooms and get to the 46th room. Getting tired forces you to start over the next day. Every day is like a separate run. You have your ways of maintaining your progress in classic roguelike fashion, so it's not quite all the way a roguelike, you know, like a lot of roguelikes are. They're not all the way. Your architecture changes every day, but you're maintaining your knowledge of the mansion, also in classic roguelike fashion, and the puzzles that you clear before getting ported to the next run. It's like you constantly keep progress through blueprints and game lore. A lot of friggin' brain-squeezing puzzles here. A lot of interconnected puzzles, and you know, everything a puzzle game could need, but it's got this really cool sort of like, I want to call it like kind of jazzy quirk aesthetic. It's got a cool feeling of it. It exposes a little of the inner workings of its narrative and how that works, but still maintains like a layer of mystery. And while being pretty welcoming to people who might not otherwise play hardcore roguelikes, it is fairly relaxing, and it's a puzzle that has blueprints. You know, a blueprints-themed puzzle game is, I think, a pretty genius, unique idea. Now next, over at number 5, we have Eternal Strands. Now this released this year and is the debut title from Yellow Brick Games. Essentially, it's an action-adventure RPG, and it's for the fans of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, with a focus on elemental abilities in a world that's full of environmental features, like the systemic stuff, from snow to brush to fire to all the things that can be used, kind of like in Zelda, to tackle obstacles in a bunch of different ways. You get to play as a warrior going around looking for ancient secrets, and that means 9 bosses are standing in your way. These are all big fights, but they're also kind of similar to some of Zelda's, or especially Shadow of the Colossus, because you're climbing over them and hitting the weak spots for massive damage. But on top of that, Eternal Strands has a little Monster Hunter influence, because when you finish one of these bosses, you get to harvest them and get their power as an ability for yourself. Couple of marks of former Ubisoft devs that they had in here, like the ability to just climb any surface, total Tears to the Kingdom vibe. Production values are pretty high, cutting-edge visuals, I mean, it's Unreal Engine 5. They had a limited budget, but the team did a really good job of focusing on the right things, the color work in the game, the general presentation. I say it looks like a gem everywhere. Gorgeous action-adventure to look out and play.
Is the hiss your enemy?
Next, over at number 4, Control Ultimate Edition. This one dropped a few years ago on previous gen consoles, then got next-genified on Xbox Series X and S, and is the best version of Control right now for sure. And of course, it is on Xbox Game Pass. So if you haven't played it yet, or if you're a Game Pass subscriber, but you somehow missed the last couple times we've pointed it out on lists, we're here to remind you because Control is great. Some people are split on it, but we still just absolutely adored it. It's fun. It's just a fun, unique-looking, unique-feeling third-person action game through and through with some good presentation, a good main character, and just enough mystery at the Federal Bureau of Control to make your imagination run wild and keep you compelled. Thankfully, the game has also been a success because now Remedy, the developers, can now focus on remaking Max Payne 1 and 2, and of course, the sequel of this game, Control 2. So, a bunch of stuff in this universe, or possibly connected universe, either way, who knows at this point, but it's exciting. Control itself, though, is on Game Pass, just the base game, but also 2 expansions that feel absolutely essential to the game. I mean, they're really good story-based side quests that extend the game's lore and really take you to some interesting places, especially the Alan Wake tie-in one. But there's way more to this game, man. It's got fun abilities, really unique weaponry, a cool location to explore, and that location being a government building sounds but it's not. Trust me, play this game. Next, over at number 3, we have Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Alright, fair warning, for older gamers, veterans, it's still the older Mass Effect games here, and they feel like slightly older, more dated, clunky games, but not by much. Mass Effect Legendary Edition cleans them up, polishes them, makes them look better, makes them feel a bit better, and I'd say makes them overall pretty approachable, not only for fans of the original games, but new people jumping in. And if you haven't played Mass Effect, this is a pretty good way to, I'd say, arguably the definitive way to play this game. BioWare classics of just space opera, fun, futuristic exploration, different worlds, different settings, going through planets, an incredible cast of characters, some of the most memorable sci-fi characters in video games. This is kind of an RPG, but mostly like a dialogue-based adventure game thingy with cover-based third-person shooting mechanics. Legendary Edition updates some of the older combat mechanics to make them just a bit more modern and palatable. And if you've never really experienced Mass Effect before, good news, because on Xbox Game Pass you can jump in, choose your character Shepard, and jump into all 3 games. Yes, this compilation has the 3 main games, a bunch of DLC. It is a good bang for your buck. Specifically, if you have Game Pass, you can jump in and play, and you'll be pretty engaged for quite a while.
I have the plant you asked for. It took some effort.
Good. Thank you, Eivor.
Next, over at number 2, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Are we back on the Assassin's Creed train again after the release of Assassin's Creed Shadows? It seems like the franchise is on an uptick again. And regardless, when you're talking about great Assassin's Creed games, Valhalla is certainly one of them. It's big as hell. Like, I'm talking a lot of Assassin's Creed game here. They refined a lot of the things that they experimented with in Origins and of course Odyssey, and here they make just a really robust Viking setting here in the Viking RPG game. There is good assassin stuff, but there's a lot of your fun punching, stabbing, getting into massive battles, exploration, good side quests, callbacks and references to older Assassin's Creed games within the story. There's a lot going on here, and I'd say Valhalla is a good place to jump in, especially if you've never really played or gotten too into Assassin's Creed. Okay, that might be some crazy talk for some hardcore purists and old school fans, but as more of a recent Assassin's Creed RPG type of simulation thing, Valhalla is a good jumping in point, and it's a good deal for Xbox Game Pass. You also get both the last chapter and shared history DLC since they are part of the standard game installation. So you're pretty much looking at like hundreds of hours of content for you. You jump into this and you're good to go for a while, which is perfect because if you're burning through your Netflix or HBO subscription or whatever subscription, this is just another thing to subscribe to sometimes. And if you look at it from that sense, you're getting a hell of a lot of content for your subscription price with Valhalla. Now to number 1, finally to stop our list, we have Mafia Definitive Edition. This is a game that we've just been banging the drum on for a long time. Like the original Mafia, this remake, it's all worth your time, just really good crime open world games. And Definite Edition is really good, like it improves on a lot of the things from the 2002 original Mafia game, but still really nails the feel. Both the looks and the actual feel of the gameplay. They just modernize some of the controls and just some bigger things that make it work. This Definitive Edition absolutely feels like a labor of love. The devs really knew what they were doing here. It's essentially the same story, mostly all the same story beats, memorable top-line sequences, sometimes word for word, like note for note. So these types of remakes were awesome because you still have a game that just scratches that nostalgic itch, but looks gorgeous and looks beautiful. They have a really good depiction of Lost Heaven, their take on Chicago, perfectly and faithfully recreated. The game looks great, and yes, we'll say it once, and say it, and say it again. If you have Game Pass, you should play Mafia Definitive Edition. No game is worth your time, and this is easily one of the best third-person open-world action crime games, period, like no questions asked.